Hi, my name is Beer, and let's start with the Plains of Pain. In this post-apocalyptic survival game, the sun is your deadliest enemy. Here you'll fight extreme heat, thirst, toxic air, and various enemies in a vast wasteland. You will build bases and settlements, trade with NPCs, craft gear and awesome anti-gravity hover vehicles, and use them to move faster across the desert of death. You can play the game alone and survive solo. The game supports full single-player experience, or you can dive into adventure with your friends and die in this forsaken wasteland together. And in the wasteland you are no one, just like in real life. I'm kidding, of course. Now subscribe for more offensive jokes. So here you have no past, no protection, only thing you actually have is your pathetic will to live. Survive however you can. There are no easy choices. Everything you do will hurt you in some way, but in general you will trade, build and explore. You will have fun. The game is constantly updated, so new materials and various bug fixes are a common thing. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 – Heart of the Chornobyl. Here you'll dive into the zone, a specific place around the area where Chornobyl power plant exploded one beautiful day. You probably saw the HBO series already that was filmed in my hometown of Vilnius, Lithuania. If not, do it. Jared Harris and Stellan Skarsgård were wonderful, and the series will perfectly immerse you into a cruel and deadly Soviet bureaucracy. Anyway, the zone around the power plant is deadly as well, and only the madman could go there and search for artifacts from another dimension in hopes of getting rich. You are that madman. Everyone calls you a stalker, but you are not alone. The whole community of people like you are scavenging these forsaken lands. Some are friendly, some are not. That's why you have an arsenal of various weapons. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but my advice would be shoot first, apologize later. You have no friends there. The scariest thing, of course, are not other scavengers, militia of every sort, or even anomalies, but creepy mutants. Oh man, I played the original games when I was a teenager and I was a bit traumatized by some of them, especially by that invisible shithead in the sewers. And he's back again. A bit too often, to be honest. After you kill it for like the 5th time, it's not scary anymore. But there are scarier things lurking in the depths of abandoned military facilities, and they will gladly meet you and eat you, or worse. Anyway, in a broader sense, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is not a horror game, but it often has strong horror episodes and a menacing atmosphere as well. Not as menacing as your ex-mother-in-law, but still really terrifying. And also, it is a beautiful game. The visuals are fantastic. Atomfall. The studio behind legendary Sniper Elite and Aliens vs Predator games decided to develop a survival action game inspired by real-life events. Atomfall is set 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster in northern England. Yeah, like most of us, I have never heard of it. So, long story short, in 1957 one of the nuclear reactors of Windscale site, that wasn't a power plant but a part of the British atomic bomb project, and produced weapons-grade plutonium, caught fire. So in the aftermath, a huge chunk of the country was affected by radiation and around 200 unlucky people died of cancer. So that's the real story. In the game you will explore the fictional quarantine zone around the aforementioned Windscale. You will scavenge, craft, barter, fight and talk your way through a British countryside filled with bizarre characters, mysticism, cults and rogue government agencies. People are saying that this is S.T.A.L.K.E.R, Fallout, Bioshock and Brain 1. Sounds good to me. Dying Light 2 – Stay Human. Playing this game while being sober was an act of heroism on my side. You know why? Because this game is scary and it amplified my anxiety levels. They went up through the roof while I was playing it. Speaking about roofs, most of the time you will parkour and climb on them. I played the game for more than 10 hours, and in those hours I spent about 5 minutes on the ground. I don't even know if the city itself is beautifully done. There's no need to go down, it's too dangerous.
That's what she said.
And you often bump into a dead end with too high unjumpable walls, and that is a bit inconvenient when you are running from a herd of brain-thirsty zombies and the level of your anxiety is melting your brain down. Terminator Resistance. This is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter set during the future war scenario that was only glimpsed in the first 2 iconic Terminator movies. We all know that the machines are destined to lose, but at what cost? So basically here you'll fight evil robots who have only one thing in their minds:
destroy all the humans.
And that is a bit not cool for you, so you will try to make their job complicated. So here you will level up your skills and explore a post-apocalyptic world for scraps to trade and craft, also interact with other survivors and change their fates. Also, you can be involved in pretty much serious romance with all the visuals, so probably don't play it with your daughter watching behind you. People on Steam are saying that this is the real Terminator 3, as it should have been. It contains an amazing atmosphere, also interesting story and developed characters. The gameplay is captivating as well. You can run and gun or sneak and hack through Skynet's defenses. So there are a lot of ways to show this rogue ChatGPT who the real boss is. And it's you, my friend. It's you are the best. Now subscribe. Rage 2. Although the first Rage game is loved more by the fans, the second part kinda changes linear gameplay design to a fully open world game. Here you'll dive headfirst into a dystopian world devoid of society, law and order. An asteroid has annihilated 80% of Earth's population, and humanity numbers are dwindling. Ruthless and bloodthirsty gangs roam the open roads, and the tyrannical authorities seek to rule with an iron fist. And you are the last ranger of the wasteland, and a threat to their power. So you have been robbed of your home and left for dead. Those are not the actions you take kindly and say thank you for. So now you have to kill them all, and only then your heart can rest in peace. The game is filled with ludicrous vehicle combat, super-powered first-person mayhem, and an open world full of emergent madness. The game sadly is ridden with bugs, and some of them can ruin even the main missions of the game. So you may be stuck for good even after investing tons of hours in it. Believe me, I have read the comments of people who played it, and they are not forgiving at all. Despite that, for some the game runs flawlessly, so it's a lottery you may want to play, or just play the first part. It's really good. Far Cry New Dawn. Far Cry games have always been colorful, but this is an absolutely next level of an airy-fairy unicorn carnage. They call it vibrant, I call it eye-melting. Despite that, Far Cry New Dawn is a decent game. Here you will dive into a post-apocalyptic Montana, 17 years after a global nuclear catastrophe. You will join fellow survivors and lead the fight against the dangerous new mob and their ruthless leaders, as they seek to take over the last remaining resources. And you are not in a mood to give your potato salad to anyone. You are more fond of bloodshed and carnage, and this is what you will do here. If you have a friend or loving mother-in-law, you can play this game together in co-op mode as well. People on Steam are bashing New Dawn for being just a shadow of Far Cry 5, and I agree, it should have been a DLC. But when it's on sale, why not? It costs as DLC as well, except you don't need the base game to play it. Outbreak Island. A cryptic message from your missing father leads you to a remote island shrouded in dark secrets. Once it was the site of secret experiments, and now each night it is haunted by a strange mystical beam that reactivates abandoned machines and awakens horrific monsters. So you will need to find out what really happened here. And what part did your father play in it? Was he some crazy mastermind and took everything with him when the experiment failed? Or was he just a victim? Did he know how to make potato salad? All these questions are circling in your head as you go and search for answers. So this is a survival exploration game set in a strange post-apocalyptic environment. And your best friend here is your car. Without it, exploration is not as fun. So you will upgrade and customize it to enhance power, durability and how it looks. Just don't forget to refuel, or you might find yourself stranded when you need it the most. And you don't want what will happen when the night falls, especially because during the night mutated creatures awakens from their slumber and are ready to tear apart anything in their path, and somehow you are always in their path. That is not fair. Anyway, a very promising game, worthy of your attention. The Outer Worlds 2. I liked the first part very much, so I bought the second one as well. And it feels like a true sequel, but with a bigger and more expansive world. That gives you more places to explore and roam around, but also a bit dilutes the gameplay. You know, they made a bigger game, but now it also feels a bit emptier, especially when you walk around the map. Still, you can find cool hidden secrets if you go off the beaten path, and that is always a nice thing. The first game was often called Fallout in space, but the second part had shaken off that feeling and definitely definitely plays more like its own thing now. The Outer Worlds 2 also has a nice dark humor. That is basically the main thing of the game, but it can feel a bit tiresome. You know, humor is nice when you have like 20% of it and the rest 80% is serious stuff. This formula was implemented in many legendary movies, like The Fifth Element, Indiana Jones, Pulp Fiction and many others. And speaking about the games, Fallout itself follows this joke ratio religiously. The problem with the Outer Worlds is that it's 80% humor and 20% serious stuff. So after a while you get numbed by the jokes and they just don't sound very funny anymore. Like, they are funny, but your brain just ignores them. Despite that, it's a fun game to play, fun to explore, and the most important thing, it's fun to swing various weapons and blast some heads with huge guns. And the quests and story are intriguing as well. Basically, the game really scratches that open world RPG itch. Mad Max. This is without a doubt one of the best open-world games on Steam. More than 90% of positive reviews are here for a reason. You will play as a lone warrior in a savage post-apocalyptic world where cars are the most important thing, the very key to survival. So in Mad Max you will have the same mindset as my neighbor Ginteres, who fixes his car every day, polishes the paint and spends more time with it than with his own wife. But the balance in nature is always around the corner. My other neighbor Darius has no car, so he spends time with Ginteres' wife. Everyone is happy. Anyway, in Mad Max you will find an action-packed open world where you must fight against vicious gangs of bandits to stay alive in the wasteland. You want nothing more than to leave the madness behind and find solace in the mythical Plains of Silence. Along the way in your search, you are challenged with treacherous missions as you scavenge the dangerous landscape for supplies to build the ultimate combat vehicle of your dreams. Cyberpunk 2077. This is undoubtedly one of the greatest single-player RPG games ever made. It had a rough start, but that is in the past and I can finally skip talking about it. Here you will dive into an adventure in a sprawling megalopolis of Night City. You will have to take on the role of a cyberpunk mercenary who has to do everything and a bit more to survive. The game has one of the coolest single-player campaigns and is a must-play for every gamer. Although remember that this is an RPG and also a first-person shooter, so the logic does not always work. You know, the same bullet does more damage when you have more experience. That makes no sense, but hey, it's a game. Just like in Fallout or GTA games, you will take on random jobs, build a reputation and unlock various upgrades. The relationships you forge and the choices you make will shape the story and the world around you. The game is massive and it has Keanu Reeves in it, so in general this is a wet dream of anyone who likes single-player RPG games, but it also has some really annoying flaws as well. Despite being set in a GTA-like world, here you cannot fly. I see a lot of comments that say something like,
"Whatever, I don't need to fly."
Yeah, but I do. That is a real downgrade and annoys me very much. Anyway, the campaign is more than awesome, 11 cold beers out of 10. Elex 1 and 2. Alright, so Elex and Elex 2 are made by the same people who created Gothic games, and if you are an old-school gamer, this information should spark real interest into your heart. It is set in a post-apocalyptic science fantasy universe full of original characters, deep moral choices, and dinosaurs. Yeah, you can be slain by a Penisoraptor here. Well, they may be called differently in-game, but anyone who slays you is a total dick, that's for sure. Also, here you'll have a jetpack, and that is amazing because you can explore not only horizontally but also erect yourself vertically and find some nice treasures hidden high up the hills. The novelty which distinguishes Elex from the first game the most is an entire system of aerial combat, with all its benefits, including enemies with an improved AI. Both games have mostly positive reviews on Steam and kinda similar scores on Metacritic, so I don't recommend buying them for the full price. Wait for a sale and then snatch them both. The discount value varies from 50 to 75%. Days Gone. This is an open-world action-adventure game set in a harsh wilderness 2 years after a devastating global pandemic, which made a lot of zombies out of unlucky humans. Here you will take control of a bounty hunter trying to find a reason to live in a land surrounded by death. You will scavenge through abandoned settlements for equipment to craft valuable items and weapons, or take your chances with other survivors. Days Gone has very positive reviews on Steam, so if you like zombies, give it a try. Although, have you ever imagined that somewhere in the universe there's probably a planet of zombies and they are creating horror games about becoming human? And honestly, we actually are pretty terrifying. Rust. The only aim here is to survive. Everything wants you to die. The island's wildlife, other inhabitants, the environment, other survivors, and so on. So do whatever it takes to last another night. The game itself is an MMO in very active development, with a guaranteed content patch every month. From regular balance fixes and improvements to AI and graphic updates, to adding content like new maps, musical instruments, trains, and drones, as well as regular seasons and events. There is always something interesting or dangerous, or both, happening on the island. Here you'll find procedurally generated worlds with map editor support. You can host your own servers, ride a vast array of vehicles from cars and trains to hot air balloons and helicopters. You can build houses, farm, or do almost anything you want. The game is huge. Not as huge as your mama though. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. By player count on Steam it holds 46th place among all the games. That shows how huge and popular this game is. There is no doubt that Skyrim is a masterpiece of open-world games, and in my opinion it was decrowned from the throne of the best game in the field only by the third Witcher. By now it is of course a bit outdated, but it still lets you dive into a huge fantasy world and explore incredible places. Skyrim is single player only. There is no bullshit of other players invading your game like in Elden Ring, no other gamers walking around like in Diablo 4 when you just try to accomplish single-player campaign. Here you are alone, and everything is done for your personal pleasure. You can become a warrior, mage, assassin, or drug addict. You know, it's up to you. Skyrim is like a great book where you are the main protagonist. Superhero to be fair, but the lore is super deep. Stories, especially for guild quests, are great, and if you never played it, just do it. Generation Zero. It may not be the best game on this list. It holds only a mostly positive review score on Steam, but the setting and the atmosphere of the game is really worthy of your attention. Honestly, the game was really hyped upon a release, and when people didn't get a masterpiece, bad reviews started to flow. That is a story of many games, and Generation Zero definitely doesn't deserve that, because it may not be a masterpiece, but it's not a bad game as well. Here you will explore alternative Sweden in 1989. One day Swedes woke up early in the morning and saw that their beloved Sverige is overrun by evil robots. Where did they came from, who made them, nobody knows. Probably evil Norwegians who were envious of Swedish reindeer herds. Everyone knows that casual Swedish deer produces 7 times the amount of milk than Norwegian deer does. Even the males. That is the fact, trust me, every Swede in the comments can confirm that. Anyway, the price is really wallet friendly, and most people who left a review on Steam have from 10 to a few hundred hours of playtime on record. Bioshock Infinite. As the first two parts, this is an immersive first-person shooter sim with a wonderful single-player story. While the first and second Bioshock games were set underwater, this time you go high into the sky, to the city among the clouds named Columbia. The year is 1912, and you have to rescue a mysterious girl or die trying. Well, knowing you, the latter option is more likely. Oh, come on, I'm kidding, you are great, never doubt that. Now subscribe. Anyway, the Flying City is a beautiful and vibrant world that holds a very dark secret. Here you can rip apart time and space to shape the battlefield and turn the tide in combat by pulling weapons, turrets and other resources out of thin air, throw explosive fireballs, shoot lightning and release murders of crows. Game has more than 90% of positive reviews and is a real gem every first-person shooter lover should play. Metro franchise. No list like that can be complete without the Metro games. The franchise is made by a Ukrainian-Maltese video game developer, so let's be fair, Ukrainians are really good at making these post-apocalyptic games. Here you'll play as Artyom, a survivor of nuclear war, now along with your friends living in the Metro tunnels. And you and your friends are not alone here. Various creepy mutants and not very friendly dudes want you dead. Well, as always. You know, part of them wants to eat you, part of them wants to take your stuff, and there is a part that wants to do both, and probably something else. So in order for you to not become a victim, the game provides an impressive arsenal of weapons, from simple pistols to rocket launchers and various things in between. These are first-person shooter games after all, although the one most similar to Fallout would be the Exodus, which you are seeing right now. Here you finally escape the Metro tunnels and can search for death in an open plains brimming with various mutants and monsters. Very entertaining, that's for sure. Dying Light, the Beast. Here you are back as the guy from the first game, who clearly never learned that helping people in a zombie world always ends badly. After 13 years of experiments, he escapes into Castor Woods, a valley full of forests, villages, abandoned tourist spots, and infected, who look way too excited to meet you. So here you will do what Dying Light does best: run, jump, climb, and panic. Parkour is still the soul of the whole thing, except this time the setting is more rural, so sometimes instead of rooftops you will be flying over broken cabins, cliffs, and old industrial ruins. And of course, the day is manageable, but when the night falls in, your confidence immediately leaves the chat and suddenly every dark corner starts looking like your worst financial decision, which is every financial decision you make, let's be honest. The coolest thing here is your hero, because thanks to all those lovely human experiments, he can now unleash beast powers and absolutely demolish infected in brutal melee combat. So one minute you are looking like a homeless raccoon, the next you are tearing zombies apart with your bare hands like they insulted your mother. Also, vehicles are back, which is great because sometimes even parkour addicts get tired of all that cardio. Overall, this feels much closer to the first Dying Light's horror vibe. Basically, the game politely asks you one question: do you want anxiety on foot or anxiety in a car? Surroundead. As developers say here, 5 years have passed since civilization fought against the virus, but nothing has changed. The world lays in ruins with no one to lead humanity to a brighter future to fight against the zombies, and people have fallen back to a dark style of life. Well, I guess you can imagine the setting where there are zombies everywhere, but the most dangerous thing is a healthy human who wants not your brain but your stuff and probably your butt. So this is an open world survival game where you will travel through a devastated post-apocalyptic landscape, fight zombies, human survivors, and wildlife in general. For that you will have many different firearms, melee weapons, tactical clothing, and different types of equipment. Cool thing is that you can also drive vehicles. You will also have to manage them and keep in good shape. The game has around 90% positive reviews, and players on Steam are saying that this is a surprisingly fun game with a lot of potential. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.